Yeah. Yesterday. Was it yesterday? We were watching that Apple stuff. Wwdc. Very developer-centric, software-centric event. Why are you smirking like that over there already? We're like 2 words into this. You're smirking at me over there.
Well, it's always a fun time with watching it with people.
Because we were cracking jokes and things like that. We were being human. We were being humans.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you're not allowed to be a human, Will. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous out there.
All right.
Be a human. How dare you? Yeah, we were cracking. I mean, we were just having fun. That's what we do around here.
Yeah.
Nothing. We can't just look at something for the face value. We got to dive deeper.
Of course.
Like, how they said that? What they doing over there?
How they doing over there, Tim?
Yeah, what's going on behind the scenes? What's going on behind the scenes? That's the truth. If you can, see through signal to noise ratio, read between the lines. You ever heard that before, Will? Have you ever read between the lines?
All the time.
Good for you.
At least I try.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You sound like a human to me. That's what I like. That's what I like about you.
Yeah.
You sound like a human to me. Anyway, they talk about a few things. This one was the most noteworthy to me. FaceTime on Android. Stop it. Get out of here. What you talking about, Apple? You're inviting friends into the sandbox, are you?
They're working together now.
It doesn't really work. I mean, it's in a browser. So here's how it goes. In iOS 15, anyone on Android, Windows, etc., can join an existing group, FaceTime group of individuals through a web browser. They would get a link, click the link, it would launch a web browser, and then they would be active inside of this Zoom-looking experience with multiple people inside of FaceTime. The little demo they have there showcases, I don't know, what is that? 6 people over there? Look how cool everybody is, though.
Wow.
Can we...
Yeah.
How do you...
Everyone is very cool. They all have friends.
Everyone is cool.
And they all play musical instruments.
Everyone is cool. Everyone is fully accessorized. Everyone's got a look. It's no joke, this thing, Will.
Mm-hmm.
It's casting. Just for a simple screenshot. It's casting, it's interviews.
Yeah.
It's
magical.
Yeah.
It's
very magical. Anyway, so they're jumping into the FaceTime call. They're having a FaceTime call, but maybe a couple of their pals are not haven't fully embraced the whole Apple thing for whatever variety of reasons. They can send that invite and bring in the second-class Android/Windows citizens, and they can partake. Now, there is a restriction. You can join in here via your web browser, but you cannot create the event yourself if you're off platform. So if you want to be the host, then you have to initiate that link from the iOS device.
Oh, so if you're running Android, do you have to download Safari or would it work on Chrome?
No, it will launch you into your default web browser.
Oh, okay.
If you're using Android or Windows and have a friend or family member with an Apple device, they send you a link to FaceTime call through text, email, WhatsApp, or a calendar invite. You get the link. All you do is click it. It will open in your browser. You join the call from there. That's it.
Do you have to enable like permissions, like camera? And
I would presume.
Probably, right?
There would be these privacy-related things involved over there. But so this is immediately an improvement with FaceTime, and then I like the crossover component. And the question then becomes, okay, Apple, if you start opening up a little bit, can we talk about some other things? Can we talk about this iMessage situation? Is there a possible crossover over there? Because obviously Apple believes in this circumstance that this is going to, well, first of all, delight their very own customers for being able to bring other people in, but also possibly sway those that are on those alternative platforms, come onto the FaceTime room. They're like, it's very nice in here. They kick their feet up. I almost kicked my feet up right there.
Yeah.
Too acrobatic for the moment. And then they're like, I gotta buy me one of these iPhones. I might get me one of those, which is what Will likes to say. That's the Willie Do meme. Every time if there's something cool on Unbox Therapy, he walks over, he goes, I might get me one of those.
Yeah, I just mutter it.
And I say, what was the need for the big inhale at the beginning of it? He goes, I might get me one of those.
And I spit it out. Like a big loogie.
I say, Will, this ain't the Wild West, man. I say, Will, please stop tying your horse up in the studio here.
Saddle up.
We're not really set up for it. I mean, I appreciate your horse, but we're really not set up for it.
Yeah.
Might get me one of those. Anyway, so yeah, FaceTime opens up a little bit, and then who knows, man? Maybe this other stuff opens up a little bit if they take this approach in general. They say, hey, let the people use it, let them decide. I don't know how the iMessage thing would work in the same way because obviously it's not the same thing, but if the app existed cross-platform and they really wanted to go toe-to-toe with the likes of WhatsApp and whatever other messaging service, it'd be really interesting to see how the adoption was. Mm-hmm. Especially they've been making such a case on privacy. And where do you go when you think of privacy? You think of messaging. Now, I know they want to sell you the hardware. All their money is wrapped up in the hardware, but it's a little, at this point, it could act as a nice little entry point for those that have been resistant.
Sure.
Or where purchasing Apple devices have been cost prohibitive, they could mess around, goof around in a little iMessage on Android. I don't know. I'm not claiming that's going to happen. Yeah. I'm just saying that this is maybe a step towards it. Mm-hmm. For now, FaceTime on Android. Didn't think I'd be saying. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be saying. I got more to say actually on the event, but first, a word from the sponsor today, HelloFresh. I was eating HelloFresh the other day.
Yeah.
I don't remember which day it was. What was the meal? It had some rice in it. It had some carrot.
Was it this?
It was a fresh carrot. No, what? I don't think it was that. That one actually looks even fancier.
Yeah.
It was a fresh carrot was involved. It was delicious, Will.
Okay. I can second
And
that.
it had a freshness to it, which is what I've been looking for lately. Because I had been traveling around a little bit and I was eating some of those foods that happen to be fast. You ever have that experience where you might eat a few things and afterwards you're like, man, I got to get back on the train here. I got to get something healthy going. I got to get something nutritious. I got to get something that feels a little more real to it. Mm-hmm. That's where this comes in. HelloFresh. It could be a balsamic fig chicken or a beef flautas supreme. Flautas!
Oh.
With pico de gallo and lime crema. Lightning
Delicious.
preparation, 30 minutes. What you or I would give to take a bite of a flauta at the moment. You and I sitting here starving at this time of day.
Yeah. I would give a lot.
You give a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I would give a lot too. We might have to get the people who watch this to give us a pass so we can have some food on the side one time. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, yes, most of these dinners are ready in about 30 minutes. There's also meals that can be done in like 15 to 20. They even mentioned breakfast on the go. I'd like a little bit of that. 27 plus recipes to choose from each week. Vegetarian meals are there if you need it. Calorie smart choices, craft burgers, extra special gourmet options, something for everybody to enjoy. And it's easy to do, so you got no excuses. It shows up. I mean, anyone could put it together. Willie Doo could put it together. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is go to HelloFresh.com/LouLater12 and use code LouLater12 for 12 free meals. That's the best thing about this promo is it's free food. 12 free meals. HelloFresh.com/LouLater12. Use the code LouLater12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Go to HelloFresh.com/LouLater12. Don't forget the code. Links are down in the description as well. If that's easier for you to click, but the code gets you the free meals. All right, next up from the Apple event, SharePlay. I don't know. You like this one. I'm not trying to watch something and then I'm watching the person watch the thing and we're both watching the thing.
Why not?
I'm not trying to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because if I'm watching a thing, I want to be watching the thing. You know? There's some weird like social protocol. Now, if a person is there, you know what this reminds me of? It's like this show right here. Yeah. And I know it's inevitable that somebody's going to call into this show and they're going to be on the screen. I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? How you been?
Whoa.
Hey there, pal, partner. There's a Wild West theme to today. I can't tell you why. There just some reason is.
It's very aggressive though.
I think what it was is it was you with the I might get me one of those, which brought me to the Wild West, and then I enjoyed it, and so I'm bringing it in general.
Yeah.
I'm bringing barbecue sauce today.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
That's good
Anyway,
for
so
you.
this is what people like to do is also my house is so busy that if I'm watching something, be like, I mean, the kids are already telling me right now, I got to get home because I got to watch the,
Is it on Netflix?
I got to watch the Sweet Tooth.
That's on Netflix.
I got to watch the
right?
Sweet
Yeah.
Tooth. And so I got the watch party going. I get it. Not everybody has the watch party going on.
Yeah, not everyone.
I
does.
understand, man.
Exactly.
But I'm saying there is a kind of like a weird video conferencing thing, which is just not that enjoyable to me. I'm not saying like FaceTime is one of the better ones for latency and things like this, but there's like an uncanny, particularly like putting a quip in while you watch something. It's got to be at the right time.
Sure.
You can't. Like, you're going to spoil the whole thing. What are we pausing and discussing and then continuing? I much prefer the organic version of it, which is like you can turn to the other person and be like, wow.
Sure. Yeah.
As opposed to the formality of now that I got you on the screen, we're going to distribute our attention here.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I'm being picky here. I'm sure that if I didn't see humans for like a year or something, I'd be share playing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, where are the humans?
Yeah.
Hello, human.
And with the latency thing, I'm pretty sure Apple is working on it, getting it figured out, right?
Yeah.
So they're one step closer.
Yeah, they would fit. Look it, man.
Yeah.
I'm coming off as the crotchety old man here. And that's not my intent. I'm saying for the right circumstance, sure. But I don't want everybody doing this all the time. I would still,
SharePlay with caution.
like just get together every so often is all I'm saying.
I agree.
I don't know that it's an actual substitute. Can you imagine sporting events? We're all on screens. What? Like there's something to it, man. I don't know, Will.
Yeah, you like the nudging, the
I don't know.
physical
There's,
nudging
there's something to it, man.
and interrupting.
Something to it, man. No, I don't know about it. Well, sporting events, if you've ever been to, I don't know, like a Super Bowl party or a fight event or
Oh, way better. Like physically in person with many others.
and snacks are
So much
involved.
better. Yeah.
And there's the atmosphere contributes hugely to your enjoyment. We were talking the other day about like watching a comedy special versus going to a comedy show. There's just some intangible pieces there that your brain picks up on. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Apple's giving you a feature. Apple can't give you friends, and it can't give you a Super Bowl. All right, it's not its business. What it's going to do is utilize the technology it has, which in this case is FaceTime, to improve the feature set and give you these options if you choose to. So the launch partners for SharePlay are Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO Max, NBA, Twitch, TikTok, Masterclass, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus, and Pluto TV. And the API is available to developers. So, which could eventually lead to interactive apps like collaborating for work and things like this that you could use this share functionality for.
Presentations.
Yeah, so it's like there's some actual real practical applications for the technology as well. But initially, it's like, hey, man, I'm watching this thing on HBO Max. Let's watch it later. And it's all synced up and we're chatting and the show's happening. And we could listen to music together as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of different. Hey, man, I want to show you this music real quick and get your reaction. That's a little bit different.
Sure.
But if you scroll down, you can see how it works with a movie. I don't know what they're on there, what the service. I don't know what that show is. But you're in the corner, you're reacting and watching the show and having friends. And
Having friends.
it's very exciting.
Yeah. It's weird that they didn't have it on the big screen.
You can
I
do
guess
that too.
because they need a camera to kind of show the person.
You can you can move it up to. You're talking about like AirPlay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can do that too if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do that too if you
And then maybe you could set your phone under your TV or something.
want. You can set
camera.
it. Yeah, you can set
Sure.
it. There. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You have
that's
friends.
solid.
You have friends. Apple has provided your friends are being provided by Apple.
Okay, good.
They will share.
I'm glad.
Are you doing the SharePlay? Maybe explain it to me, Will, because I sense your resistance to my approach here, which is fair and justified and warranted. And I want to hear your take because you were Mr. Game of Thrones. You're walking around here in a robe half the time. And I was like, what is this about? And you're like, well, me and my pals, we get dressed up and we meet up on Sunday or whenever that show was. Was that Sunday?
Yeah, it was a Sunday.
Was this? I just guessed on that, but
Sunday evening.
But I felt like it must have been because how were people able to meet up so much? It had to be a weekend, right? And so all of a sudden you guys were getting dressed up.
You just had to add that in twice.
Hang on.
We didn't dress up.
Hang on. And you were telling me that what happened was that you would be together and then the show would be over and then you would talk, but it wouldn't be much talking during the actual show.
Yeah. There's usually a preamble and a post conference.
So what's funny about that is you could just FaceTime before and after.
Sure, yeah.
But I guess there is a thing of just wanting to know the person's at the exact same point, and you can take breaks together and feel connected or talk about your popcorn or you talk about your outfits with the dressing up. You have to see that too.
Sure. I
with the
think
capes and the
robes and the wines, chalice.
There's an alarm going off up there. The wines you had the wines going on as well.
I don't think we had wines, no.
What'd you have, beers?
It was very PG.
Oh, you would drink nothing?
We would have beers. I don't think everyone bought wine. I don't think so. Although it would be appropriate.
I would feel like
I think about
you should have wine for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So.
We didn't get up to that point.
All right, the next feature I want to talk about that they showed off at WWDC. This is actually the last one as far as things that were talked about at the event. Universal control. This thing is kind of magic. There's a point in my life where this would have been just like so useful to me. Maybe a little bit less so now, but this is the ability to move across a variety of devices and screens to essentially move your cursor. There used to be a name for this, right? Like there was a thing called Sidecar, but that was exclusive to iPad. Anyway, the point being is I could be starting a project on an iPad, like an illustration, and then I could bring the iPad over to where my MacBook is and just drag components. Like, first of all, have my cursor populate the device, the iPad, my cursor from the MacBook, jump over onto the iPad, and then drag elements from the iPad from the project onto the MacBook seamlessly.
Yeah.
Without any menu system, prompt, like just boom. So they're calling it universal control, and it doesn't stop there. It's even between Macs. So in the demonstration that Federighi did, he then also pulled components into Final Cut Pro,
right,
which was running on the iMac from the MacBook. So it's across this whole string of products and devices that you might have in your life.
I mean, that's useful.
It sounds pretty useful.
If you're managing a lot of devices and, using them for each use case.
It's also like some projects or tasks you may prefer to do on, let's say, a desktop-based application. Like I'm thinking Photoshop, for example. I might want to get started with an illustration on a touch interface like an iPad, and then quickly move those elements to a Photoshop project.
Yes.
And then continue with like a mouse and keyboard where I feel more comfortable for that portion.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that they've been able to merge those. I don't know how seamless it's going to be in real life. It looked good in his demo, but the demo is heavily vetted.
Right.
So we got to test this out in real life, but that's a cool feature with Apple leveraging its ecosystem. You sense a trend here. These are the types of things they can do. They got the OS moving across.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, this is the last Apple-related story, but it has nothing to do with the event. I don't know. I think I mentioned this story to you. Apple agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement after iPhone repair technicians posted customers' private photos online. This is a pretty wild story, and actually, it's a little bit personal because I had an operation, a business, one of the early businesses I had when I was a young man.
Wee lad.
When I was a wee lad, you're right there. I had a business doing repairs on phones and MacBooks and like Apple related products. iPods actually before phones, because you would have to switch the batteries and it wasn't easy to do. And those batteries would die relatively quickly. And people were like, I spent so much money on this iPod. Am I supposed to throw it in the garbage? And there was no, Apple didn't have an approach for that yet. They do now, obviously, with phones.
Yeah.
But this was with iPods, and it was like you just bought a new one until people figured out, okay, we can switch these batteries. It just kind of sucks to do it. So we had these little shops pop up. I had one of those shops a billion years ago. So oftentimes, not with iPods, but with people's laptops, there would be like, you would bump into compromising stuff. Like on the desktop, on the desktop. You'd be like, Jesus, you don't want to like wipe the desktop at least before you hand over your laptop from having these, what would you?
Compromising images?
Compromising doesn't fully encompass what I'm talking about, but I mean.
Unsettling?
Just personal stuff. Let's just say that. Things that would typically be kept personal. So, but anyway, with having had that experience and a much more low-tech version of it, it was always, what would you say? It was like a sense of responsibility that you'd be like, oh, damn, man, this is a really intimate object and Apple has been making such a huge case in the privacy direction, but it's very hard when you have human beings, fallible human beings with their hands on people's private information in the form of repair to control all of that and everything anybody ever does. And that's what happened here. So these technicians had this 21-year-old's iPhone, and on it, she had compromising photos and videos, I believe. And this technician at Pegatron in California, which is Apple's supplier and also the name of the repair facility, but it's officially correlated to them. They took that content off the phone and published it to this 21-year-old's. She's 21 now. This was in 2016. Oh, God. Oh, no.
That's even worse.
Oh, no. Is that real, though? Wait. The incident occurred in 2016. The 21-year-old college student. She must have been 21 at the time.
Okay.
You can't be in college if you're 2016. No. Yes. 21 at the time, I'm guessing. She's a college student. She sent the phone to be repaired at wherever Apple had instructed it to be sent. And so it was. And then the technicians posted 10 photos of this customer in various stages of undress.
Yeesh.
And they posted it to her Facebook is what I believe is what I read. They posted it to her social media. Oh my goodness gracious. So Apple gets sued, obviously, and the amount of money. What's weird, it takes so long. 2016 it happened. It's weird it takes so long. But they got sued, and the amount of money is in the multi-millions for the settlement, causing distress and damage to the individual. And the funny thing is I'm sitting here thinking, what is the correct punishment here? I don't believe it's criminal, but obviously some pretty significant damage done here. But then it's sorted out in a civil lawsuit. And then obviously the people get fired, but I don't know if there should be anything above and beyond that for that type of behavior. In a statement given to the Telegraph, Apple said that it takes customers' privacy extremely seriously and that it thoroughly investigated the egregious violation. The company said it took immediate action and has since continued to strengthen our vendor protocol. There's a suggestion that it might have been as much as $5 million. And probably part of the lawsuit is this individual can't talk very much about it now, which is interesting because the story comes out. But anyway, I guess there's no statement from the individual who was affected. But it is weird trying to put a price on these type of things.
Yeah. Is $5 million.
It's just weird. It's just what is
equate to her suffering and even future, like the potential of.
what is the suffering? How do you what it's I mean it is that's the job I guess of the legal system. It happens all the time. They put a dollar value on suffering. But obviously this is a unique case. Apple's a very successful company and a huge target if you happen to have an issue with them. But pretty terrible turn of events. I would just say the same thing I said in the past with stories like this is that, when a person is in a vulnerable situation and you find yourself in a role of responsibility that you would have in that position, I know it sounds goofy. You're like, hey man, you're just repairing a phone. Shut up. But it's like, no, you have kind of you have that person's identity. You've been entrusted with it for a temporary amount of time, and it is a significant thing.
Yeah,
but obviously not everybody treats it that way, which is unfortunate. Elon Musk, you told me to talk about this. Elon Musk paid $0 in federal income tax in 2018. Apparently, there's this new report that a lot of wealthy, I don't even know if wealthy is a big enough word there, but some of the world's richest people, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they don't pay all that much tax. They find ways around it. They file, there's losses that are reported elsewhere to compensate and shifting around of expenses.
but like zero.
Zero.
That
That means
tough.
that means that many average people paid more income tax in 2018 than Elon did. But this stuff has been going on forever. I wasn't even surprised to see this, to be honest. It was this company, ProPublica, that apparently received highly secretive tax data on everyone from Bezos to Warren Buffett, and of course, Elon Musk as well. In the case of Bezos, they said the Amazon CEO reported $46 million in income for 2007, but didn't pay anything in federal taxes that year. Bezos offset every penny he earned with losses from side investments and various deductions, like interest expenses on debts and the vague catch-all category of other expenses. I mean, they got all kinds of, the type of accountants they got going on, Will. All the tricks and moves that are inside of that tax law these guys, whatever he saved in taxes, he paid for an accountant.
It's not far off.
Okay, in the case of, here's what gets people upset. It's the relationship of tax to wealth. So, but it's weird because wealth isn't taxed, income is. So Bezos' wealth has increased massively, but most of it has to do with Tesla or Amazon stock price. So it's not income unless he were to sell that stock, let's say. His income is, he can control elements of his income, like when he gets paid, how much he gets paid. You'll see a lot of these executives, they take a really low salary in order to maneuver these type of things around. But anyway, that's what gets people upset. So he has paid billions in taxes. Bezos, between 2006 and 2018, paid $1.4 billion in personal taxes. But that only amounts to a 1.1% true tax rate on the rise in his fortune. So it's really kind of weird the way these things are calculated. But ultimately, these guys are crazy, stupid, ridiculous, wealthy. And people are like, hey, we want to tax you. That's essentially what it comes down to. Now, Elon Musk, for his part, in 2015, he paid $68,000 in federal income tax. Keep in mind, there's state income tax as well. So this is only relating to federal income. In 2017, it was $65,000. In 2018, it was $0. So between 2014 and 2018, he had a true tax rate, according to this report, of 3.27%. And then on top of that, he gets government contracts for his company, SpaceX. And what else? He's got all those environmental tax credits going on with Tesla. So, you have a take. What are you smirking over there? What do you got, Will?
I just feel like I need to meet his accountant.
Right, you do. Yeah. Well, like I said, man, you and I can't afford his accountant. Like,
No.
that's the other thing to mention. Whatever team is involved, and nor do you or I necessarily want to get to the level of complexity when we're setting up side businesses and variety of investments and offsetting losses to gains and like constantly trying to maneuver the thing. But yeah, at a certain scale, when you're into the billions of dollars, it's easy to understand how and why these maneuvers would take place, because the scale justifies the interest.
Yes.
Like, imagine if you were an accountant and your pay structure was in some way incentivized by how much tax savings you were able to produce, and you knew that having this as your client, that whatever the hell you could find, whatever maneuver you could pull would be worth it because you could potentially save billions of dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a pretty unique use case when it comes to when it comes to these individuals.
Very swift.
So, but anyway, yeah, people can be upset. I mean, people just don't like that number. The people, this narrative here is one that has existed for a while.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
why, how do they do it? What are they doing? Why can't I do that? Why can't I have that? Etc.
Yeah.
Tesla has canceled the Model S Plaid Plus, which was supposed to be the top of the line model. This was supposed to take the Plaid model and make it even crazier, even more Plaid, hence the Plus. It was supposed to be the world's fastest production car. It was supposed to have this crazy range, 520 miles. And they announced it alongside the Plaid model, but had this like later date on it. And I remember because I think I even made a video ordering it. I can't remember at this point, but 0 to 60 sub 2 seconds, top speed 200 miles per hour. A lot of the specs were the same as the Plaid model, but actually one that stands out to me was the range, because it was like an extra 100 miles and everyone was like, how are they going to do it? That's some record-breaking stuff. Well, anyway, we saw recently there was a series of tweets from Elon. He says Model S goes to Plaid speed this week. Plaid Plus is canceled. No need, as Plaid is just so good. Seeming to imply that Plaid is as good as it gets, at least for now. And
So we have our own
speculation?
predictions. Yeah.
Yeah, that it had something to do with the battery tech not being there yet, right? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So there's probably good reason why Plaid is just so good for right now, because it's what you can deliver. I mean, you look at the delays just on the regular Plaid model, which was supposed to happen in March. And it ain't March anymore. So obviously you have enough difficulty there. Why even bother keeping the Plaid Plus in there if you can't even perceive being able to deliver it sometimes? I mean, if you're talking like a year later, just do it over again at that point. Anyway, so the regular Plaid model is gonna, I think they've suggested it'll do like 400 miles, 420, something like that. So it's not as impressive. And so the fact that he didn't reference that component is a little bit, I guess it bothers some people. They're like, what do you mean it's good enough? You were talking about this extra 100 miles. But another thing that he had come out and said was that when you consider the average number of times you're going to have to stop to go pee or get a coffee or something, that like the current 420 mile proposal is good enough or something like that, you know. But it is a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to see the new battery tech. I would have loved to see that crazy range in there, because it's not just about one specific road trip. It's about how often are you having to plug it in.
Yeah.
Like, as you go around and go about your life, and the fewer times, the better, period. Well, they're showing Plaid as 390 here, 390 miles estimated range. So not 420. I take that back. The long range model is 412. So the Plaid is actually, I mean, that's quite a bit different.
I guess more powerful, the Plaid.
Yeah, but 390 compared to the advertised 520 on the Plaid Plus is significant.
Yes.
So I understand Plaid is good, but it's not really interchangeable with what the pitch was for the Plaid Plus. Anyway, I'm sure they'll get there one day, but just not anytime soon. the power wise, they were supposed to be very equivalent or very close. You had 1020 horsepower and 1100 horsepower. So there wasn't a huge difference there, hence the record-breaking time that was recently set on the regular Plaid model with Jay Leno and whatnot, as we previously talked about on this show. They did the 9.24 second quarter mile trap speed 152 miles per hour, which would make it quicker than any production car ever, other than the brand new, which people want me to talk about, $2.5 million Rimac Nevera supercar, which... Well, that's a different class, obviously.
Sure.
$2.5 million. Be cool to look at it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Can they roll it through here or what? I don't need to buy it. Like, we just need, give us 5 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't need it. So, a couple of takeaways here. Maybe another reason they cancel it, never mind the battery tech, is maybe they finally get around to this Roadster. And they're like, hey, if you want the most ridiculous car, we got this Roadster for you. Because... you get the SpaceX package on there, 0 to 60, 1.1 seconds. And you got this Rimac company coming with these crazy figures, and they're like, oh yeah, maybe we should get that Roadster going. We talked about that a little while ago. Just a little while ago. And cancel the Plaid Plus. I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, but it was a bit confusing, Plaid Plus.
Yeah.
I just hope they get the Plaid shipping sometime soon. That'd be cool too.
Yep.
Speaking of the Roadster, there's a cool little, I didn't know what I would call it. It's kind of like an interactive, what do they say here? Interactive 0 to 60 mile per hour drag race by Vanarama. And as you scroll down, you'll see how you interact with this thing. This image here, which would probably be good for the thumbnail or something, showcases the different speeds representative of kind of like a graph almost, but it has the cool overhead car graphics superimposed on there. But if you scroll down, you'll see it's actually interactive to see how fast 1.1 seconds actually is. You click the engine start button here.
It's embedded in here.
It's embedded, and it scrolls a little bit, and then now start to scroll, I guess, or click. I don't even know what you did. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, watch this. Will is scrolling, but it's all happening. You see, he goes, it's 0.2, 0.4. Well, he's not at 60. Oh, there it is. The Roadster's at 60. Boom, it's over the line. Oh, and then in comes the regular Roadster, non-SpaceX edition. Next up, it's a 2015 Porsche 918 Spider, followed by the current generation 911 Turbo S at 2.2 seconds. Anyway, I feel like I was broadcasting a
giddy up
race event there.
There you go.
So you can see a lot of popular cars. There's some electric cars and some supercars on there. And this just gives you a different sense of where and how these things line up and just how much faster 1.1 seconds is if they actually do end up delivering that on the Roadster compared to all these other cars. I guess we would have to put the Rimac in there as well now.
Right. Oh, these are all neck and neck, eh?
2.4 seconds. Yeah. The Chiron, the Taycan. But even, see, this is kind of, the representation here is kind of weird because you're talking about 0.1 seconds between the Huracan Performante or even the 911 Turbo S at 2.2. Like, you're talking about fractions of a second, right? Mm-hmm. And you're into the decimal point. But you got to go a long ways back to get to 1 second, which is where the first one. Like, you got to go all the way back over there.
Right.
It's wild. SpaceX edition. Maybe people could go to the website, try it out for themselves. But that was a little bit of fun, right? That's different than reading a typical.
Sure,
Come on, you had some fun, no?
Interactive.
Bezos is going to be, will fly on the first passenger space flight of his company, Blue Origin, this July. He's going to get up there in space.
Good for him.
Oh.
Daring.
You like that?
The first flight?
He took all the money he saved on taxes and made a spaceship.
There you go.
Blue Origin plans to launch the mission on July 20th. It'll be the 52nd anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. His brother is going to join him, as well as the winner of an auction being held for one of the seats. Now, the auction is currently sitting, I think, at $2.8 million. His brother, on the other hand, was quite surprised to find out that he will be joining him. And Bezos posted an Instagram video. I think he's getting more active on social media. Yeah, he's no longer got that big title at Amazon. He's got a little time on his hands, and he's posting over there on social media. Instagram.
It's one Earth. I want to go on this flight.
There you go.
Because it's a thing I've wanted to do all my life.
There you go, Will.
It's an adventure. It's a big deal for me. I invited my brother to come on this first flight because...
There you go. They got horses and cowboy hats, and now they got a spaceship.
Would you? Are you serious? I am. I think it would be meaningful.
It's so produced.
I wasn't even expecting him to say that he was.
He said, I think it would be meaningful to have my brother there.
Go along. I was just awestruck.
Seriously? If you're willing, if you want to. God. Yeah.
What a remarkable opportunity, not only to have this adventure, but to be able to do it with
That's pretty
my
wild.
best friend.
Right on.
I love you. I love you too.
A hug? First human flight. Look at this. So you're up there for a few minutes. You guys spend 2.8 million because you're not Bezos' brother.
Sure.
Well, I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
You have to actually outbid the 2.8 billion.
Is it just him and his brother?
No, and the dude who wins the auction.
Oh, so 3 people. Wow, that's really intimate.
Well, the thing can only hold, I believe it can hold 6 eventually. Am I crazy? Where did I get that number? I was around there.
It looks like it's 6.
It's going to go past the edge of space, reaching an altitude of more than 340,000 feet, which is more than 100 kilometers. It has massive windows to give passengers a view, and you'll spend a few minutes in zero gravity before returning to Earth.
I mean, that's it's quite an adventure.
It's another one that's hard to put a value on. To say you were a part of that, it almost does seem worth 2.8 million to somebody. Like you could make a case that is undervalued. If there's people out there that have hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars.
Yeah, what's 2.8?
To go to space.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the auction will finish at that particular number because there's a little time left, right? What are we talking about? July 20th.
And I guess you get to meet Bezos.
What do you think? I mean, the inside of the cabin is pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
The way those seats are, like you're leaning back, you see space, you get new perspective, multi-million-dollar perspective, Willie.
We should have a work trip. If it's 6,
Well, pricey.
Ben can come.
Pricey work trip over there.
Yeah.
All right, this next one ties into what I was saying earlier. This show, I got to get home to watch this episode 3. It's called Sweet Tooth.
What's so good about this?
Well, I don't know. I can't be spoiling anything, but it's just Netflix's most recent thing that they're marketing. It's their most recent show. They spent a few dollars on it, and it's really kind of timely because the conflict in the show is very relevant to right now.
Okay.
There's a virus. I can say that without spoiling anything. The trailer tells you that there's a virus.
Do you grow horns and
Well, there's some sort of correlation.
elf ears?
There's some sort of correlation with human-animal hybrids and this virus. And I watched 2 episodes. A lack of connection right now as to how they're combined. Like what? There's a lot to learn. But what this story is actually about. And by the way, so far I found it to be somewhat interesting. I'm watching with the kids. I find it to be somewhat interesting. I'll say that at 2 episodes. But what this story is about is actually the advertising techniques and tactics of the show. Very intense. I want you to scroll down a little bit right now. This is the cover of the USA Today magazine. Click on that. The USA Today magazine, newspaper. Hybrid babies born across the U.S. World reacts to new generation of half-human, half-animal children with both awe and concern.
Huh. That's quite an ad.
Oh my goodness gracious! That's it. See the print where it says
very aggressive.
The print where it says advertisement above there is a lot of people missed it and read it. I mean, the way it looks like the head story. Very effective.
Yeah.
Like if you were trying to walk past that, good Lord.
Let me buy that newspaper.
That is some next level clickbait when it's presented in the way on a traditional newspaper. It is some next level.
This is front page too.
Front page. And then if you go to the next one, it looks like stories written by alternative journalists. Like you see Robert Smith, Lane Feynman. It looks like exclusive photos inside. Like it looks like there's multiple people weighing in on this new development.
Right.
It's pretty wild, and it's a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Now, so part of me, I get it. People are upset. They're like, hey, that needs to be labeled differently. You're going to catch people off guard. And then part of me is like, wow, that's weird how it's cool how well it works.
Yeah.
Like when you shift the presentation of something,
Sure.
because I'm already watching the show, it immerses you even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it, why people are apprehensive. This is a thing, by the way, that publications have been doing recently, Will, because as you know, the newsprint business, it ain't what it used to be. So you got to cash in here and there. And so they've been loosening those guidelines for how they treat the front page, for example.
They're desperate.
But this one in particular rubbed some people the wrong way.
Yeah, they don't like it?
Just the fact that it's not immediately apparent, like
Right.
that it's an ad and not news. But either way, I mean, for me, it kind of actually amps up the show. It puts like a real world kind of. So I don't know if this is for people who are already watching the show or I don't know. Anyway, it is some new style marketing tactics. I can see how it gets out of hand too.
Yeah.
If this becomes a popular way in which companies market fictional content.
Yeah, you know what? I just listened to a podcast explaining about how they advertised The War of the Worlds by Orwell back in, I think in the 1940s, where it was an alien invasion broadcasted in radio throughout the U.S. and they thought it was real, and they were just panicked,
Glued to
Yeah.
it. Like that's a thing. It's hard sometimes for me to get glued to something. It's hard for me to suspend temporarily. Like, so there's a weird thing where I kind of like the crossover where it feels more tangible, but at the same time, it is obviously dangerous.
Yeah, some people can definitely take it the wrong way.
The real fake thing, but it can be really immersive too if you I don't know. I'm trying to find a good example for this, but
you and I think this is fun.
do we? I just think it's effective.
It's effective, sure.
It's fun. Yeah, I guess we do think it's fun.
But we don't think it's like a negative like connotation to it.
Well, this could be taken a lot of wrong ways, man.
But just you and I, like we think it's like, yeah, it's interactive, like it's fun. By no means do we think it. Oh, like, is this the work of gene editing and just negativity?
I think it's just strictly the way that it's positioned. That's all. If it was not even the front page, I think it would be different. It's just that you're walking across it and you feel like you got baited if you know nothing about the show and you pick it up and then you're being advertised a show and you're like, hey, man, easy.
Yeah, at that point, that would be kind of
like for you
crappy.
and I, it was just a click and a story and a read. And for everybody who clicked on this clip, that's all it was. But I guess if you were on your way somewhere and you saw a newsstand, wherever those things happen to be,
like, hey,
and you stopped and picked it
CRISPR
up,
at it again.
and you might be leading down the wrong path.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people do you hear, Will, that repeat a headline? They'll say, did you hear the thing? And you're like, no, absolutely not. What else did it say? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they didn't read.
That's it.
They didn't read the actual thing. They only got as far as the headline. So it is, you can understand the danger in that if you, whatever the rules are with that. But yeah, I'm already watching the show, so I feel like for me it enhances it. But it is risky business, no doubt. Samsung is showing off a stretchable OLED screen in a prototype heart rate monitor. Let me tell you what's really cool about this. This is obviously some fringe tech, futuristic stuff. But what's cool about this is it works kind of like a Band-Aid. You stick it to any surface and it would be able to display something like heart rate, but without the being as cumbersome and maybe even as expensive as like a dedicated device. So you can imagine this in like a medical setting. But also it got me thinking just about bio monitoring in general, like of your body, and how you could see some advanced version of this technology that could have all kinds of sensors and monitors on your body that were skin-like, but just slapped onto the surface. Because this thing is flexible in the sense that it can be stretched over 1,000 times. Stretched out, reapplied. It's got like this really kind of complex makeup here to allow it to do something like that. So it's the comparison to a Band-Aid is probably not fair because you're definitely not going to stretch a Band-Aid 1,000 times. But the example that they gave is a heart rate monitor sitting flush to the patient's skin, allowing it to pick up a signal 2.4 times stronger than an ordinary sensor because it's literally stuck right on your skin. The display can be stretched because it's built from a specially designed flexible material known as elastomer. It's not going to be out anytime soon, and I'm sure we're only scratching the surface as far as practical applications for it. But, you know, it's kind of inevitable. You went from, like, as far as displays are concerned, you went from rigid things to flexible things to stretchable things. It's in the early stages right now.
Yeah, it has this, like, organic, synthetic vibe to it where it is, like, malleable.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually you're going to be able to just like slap different sensors and displays right onto your self. Neato. First official images of Honor 50 look like the Huawei P50. And it's also called the 50.
Oh.
But don't you remember, Will? Yeah. Honor was sold. It's no longer part of Huawei. So therefore it doesn't have the same type of sanctions and issues.
Yeah, I'm guessing this was in development before the split.
And they just hand over the paperwork.
You get this
the plans. You get one freebie. Yeah. Well, it's not uncommon when the two brands were under the same roof. This happened frequently that they would share certain design elements. So that's not really a surprise. The fact that they have the same number as an indicator for the name is also indicative that they're not really trying to hide it. But what it does mean is kind of a pretty powerful spec sheet for this Honor 50 series. 100-watt super fast charge. Hyper curved screen launching in Shanghai June 16th. That's pretty soon. It won't be flagship level from a price perspective. Apparently it's going to have a Snapdragon 778G processor. What else? Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, basically, the reason it's noteworthy is because it seems to imply some kind of relationship, lasting relationship between these two brands, even since the split. It's also just noteworthy because this camera layout is not something. It's a shocking camera layout. Like that's the reason the P50 was getting so much attention. It's like, geez, where are we going with these camera layouts? This one looks maybe a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's more subdued.
But it is still 4 cameras, including one absolute monster at the top. We're going to have to wait to see why that's the case, what that implementation looks like, and it could act as an indicator for what the P50 has in it as well. But who knows? I mean, we'll never see this stuff over here anyway. I don't know if you saw, I think I showed this to you actually. The Kanye West was spotted wearing Nike shoes. And he's, of course, got this really strong affiliation with Adidas and also the Yeezy brand. It's part of Adidas. And, well, just his relationship with brands in general. He got the Gap deal. Like, he's usually representing stuff that he's working on or affiliated with. So it's very rare to see him a pair of Nike shoes. He had a fallout with Nike anyway. He used to be with Nike.
Yes.
Remember those red ones? The early Yeezys? Were they called Yeezys at that point? I think so. But it was quite a different approach. Yeah, Air Yeezy 2 led to Kanye West's greatest success. The red one, I see every so often, I'll see that one. Still worth a lot of money. So he was working with Nike and moved over, switched teams. So it's a bit odd to see him wearing Nike shoes very recently. But what else happened with this particular photos is you see that he's got a whole thing going on with the mask wear as well. Takes that up a notch. It's not your typical, that is not a typical medical mask.
No.
That he has going on there.
There's holes in it.
It looks like he has made it. I don't know if that's Jesus on there. but it's got holes poked in it where your eyes would be. None where the nose and mouth is, by the looks of it. But I don't know if this is a new thing that's going to be sold under any of these brands or if it's exclusive to him, if it's a statement. The jacket is the new Gap jacket, by the way, that he's going to be part of their collab.
The grocery bag?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well.
But you see the Nikes. Go back to the first picture. You see? So I don't know. What is that? What is that supposed to mean? Maybe if he has the mask on, it's not a breach of contract.
Yeah, that's not him.
Exactly. You got the wrong guy. They're like, but what about the jacket? The jacket's unreleased. You made it. He's like, never mind.
No, that's a grocery bag.
Never mind that jacket. So I don't know how noteworthy this is. This is probably more interesting because of the mask wear. Do you think
it's just really, it looks actually quite terrifying. Imagine seeing this guy on the street wearing that. And it's not Kanye.
Well, probably uncomfortable too, right?
Yeah.
The
holes aren't even like in his breathing space.
No, they're not. And you know what's funny about this is I almost feel like I would notice this person more, not less.
Right.
Like that mask is so intense that if they just had a regular mask on, I'd be more likely to walk past. Mm-hmm. This, I'm going to be like, who is that? This is so striking.
Yeah. There's got to be a celebrity or artist in there of some sort.
But I'm guessing as well, like we said, maybe there's more of a reason to it, like some contractual thing.
Right.
He's not. I don't know. Maybe we're being crazy. We're probably being crazy. Either way, there you go.
We're crazy. We're the crazy ones.
There's your Kanye. Yeah, we need those masks, Will. Mm-hmm. You need to be wearing that. You're gonna wear one of those on the show next time.
Sure. Get me one. I'll wear it.
Do you know what dry scooping is?
Sounds sexual.
Hey, man. Jeez.
Is it?
I don't think the word dry goes well with where you're going. It's the latest TikTok trend that could be dangerous for your heart. See, I thought you would know because you're Mr. TikTok half the time.
No, I don't know about this trend.
You've been easing up on the TikTok?
Well, there's just so many trends. It's like...
Answer my question, Will. Have you been easing up on the TikTok?
No, I haven't, actually. Yeah. It's been the same.
What can you tell us?
Terrible addiction. Yeah. But, hopefully I'll get better soon. There you go.
Dry scooping is the trend where they take the pre-workout, heavy caffeine, stuff that's packed with caffeine. You're supposed to take it before your workout. You mix it, blend it together with water or milk or something. It also has like B vitamins in it, but it gets you amped up.
Okay.
And people on TikTok, I guess, got the idea that it would be more intense experience if you don't add the water to it, because it would coat your mouth and esophagus and your body would more quickly be absorbing the contents. And then some people started posting, a couple girls posted that they did the thing and ended up with a heart attack in the hospital.
Oh.
TikTok is full of these life hacks and fitness trend. Dry scooping reportedly caused major health issues for at least 2 users, and one who claimed that she had a heart attack from it. There's extremely high levels of caffeine in here, by the way. Rather than mixing the pre-workout powder into a diluted drink or milk, the TikTok fad sees users swallow the powder dry and then chase it with a liquid.
So that's the trend on TikTok? Like they would just show them dry scooping and then going to work out?
I guess. In addition to caffeine, pre-workout products include creatine, taurine, B vitamins, NO2 boosters, and branch-chain amino acids. Oh. Absorption begins directly through the membranes in your mouth and continues through your esophagus and into your stomach. As pure dry powder, there's no dilution, and the fast entry into your bloodstream results in immediate release of supplements of those. It is the incredibly high dose of caffeine that enters the blood very rapidly, like ephedrine, causes an abrupt increase in adrenaline and puts the heart in overdrive. Anyway, there's a picture of the girl saying that she didn't fake her heart attack. Here I am in the hospital after doing the dry scooping thing. That sounds like a copywritten song right there. I don't know why people think I'd cap about heart attack on this app. Yeah, annoying ASF. I'm just trying to help people not make the same mistake I did. There's the original clip. Taking a dry pre-workout scoop. I'm a clown, be a clown. Ending up in the hospital because I had a heart attack. Okay.
All right. This is just sad.
Is it? What do you think about the clown?
That's what makes it sad.
The clown thing on TikTok?
Trying to make fun of it or trying to add some sort of light to it. I don't know. What's the message here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, but I guess you don't want to be doing this dry scooping. Also, especially if you have any kind of like undiagnosed heart condition.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know they have like an arrhythmia or something like that. And then you dose like heavy caffeine in it.
And go for like a run on like a treadmill.
Yeah.
Do some sort of...
Yeah, you're redlining the situation
workout.
at that point. So I don't know, whatever. Take it easy with these substances.
Mm-hmm.
Caffeine is no joke, man. If it's you can have too much of it, and I don't know. It's not cool to stop dry scooping or do whatever you want. I don't get back to Willie Doo needs his TikTok time there. How to get it? Hey, get out of here. You want to
I'll do that.
go watch
right
his
now.
dry scooping.